this stand for the neighborhood party.
Right on. Oh. Welcome to Thoughts Off the Stem. I'm Justin Barone, and today we're smoking mystery concentrates again. It was given to me, excuse me, by a friend. Her boyfriend made it, so it's homegrown. It's quite a bit. I've had it for a long time. It's really good. I think it's like a hybrid leaning indica. It's actually quite nice. If you watched last sesh, talking about apocalypses, you would have seen me smoking that. I got a little motor mouthy. Yeah. It doesn't promote a lot of thinking, that's for sure. It just promotes a nice high time. I don't really know what it is. I was told it was a shatter, but it's not. It's more like a wax. Either way, it's a really nice smoke. I was actually really impressed. It's very resinous. Cleaning out the Stoonin' glass after having smoked it is a tough one. Today, we're also going to smoke... what do I want to smoke? You know what? I'm going to smoke some SFV OG Candy Rain by Black Market at 31%. Again, more of a hybrid. I pre-rolled these. I found myself a nice humidor. We're going to find out if it keeps these things delicious. If the actual humidity setting is correct. Yeah, so I've been keeping my pre-rolled joints in those just to, like, you know, just for a good time. To see if it works really well. I don't know why I'm giggling like that lately. It seems really stupid. I'm laughing at nothing. Maybe it's trying to, like, hype myself up. I don't know. But yeah, today, I felt like I had to address something. Because I put out a clip on TikTok about a customer, and I don't think I did a good job of cutting the clip right. Because it basically was about a customer who came into the shop, and they were looking to buy like a half ounce of a specific product. We didn't have that product, and he instead had to buy, or was offered up 2 like 7 grams to make up the 14. However, the price of those is full price. Like, you don't get a discount. And the way that I presented it, I don't think I did a good job of trying to explain how silly the conversation was, because that's really what I was trying to show you, was how stupid our back and forth was about this thing. And when I put it out, I got a lot of comments, or at least a few comments for a while, and I don't generally respond to the comments because, like, those are just clips from the podcast, things that I think are funny. Now, I mean, they're not mixed to be, you know, to, like, explain something that it's not. It's taken from one clip and cut down to, like, under a minute so that it's tolerable, right? But it's part of a bigger discussion from the podcast. So if you're watching these clips and you're like, oh, this fucking guy's a dummy. Like, yeah, there's more to it. I'm just trying to get attention to the podcast. So I try to pick, like, more poignant moments. And I don't have a team working for me. I have me working for me. So I do my best to pick out the best clips from that episode. So anyway, in this one YouTube short that I put out, that I put across TikTok, Instagram, and X, I started getting a lot of backlash because I guess the end of the clip basically was like, hey, we didn't have the half ounce that you wanted, so you had to buy 2 7 gram bags to make up the half ounce. You have to be charged the full price for the 2 7 gram bags. So that's what I explained to this customer, is that, like, hey, you have to be charged for both bags, so it's going to cost you more than buying the half ounce bag. Well, I took a lot of heat. Because people were saying, like, oh, you can't, you know, that's shitty customer service and you don't know what the fuck you're doing and blah, blah. Okay, fine. Fair enough. If that's what you think, that's fine. But I ended up over time getting so many of these comments, like a week. I got so many of these fucking comments. I was like, you know what? I have to respond. I can't just stay quiet on this. Not to defend myself as being an asshole. I work for a shop. I don't own the shop. I would love to, but I don't, okay? And I have to work by their rules, and I have to work by the regulations of the industry. I also have to follow compliance issues, okay? So everybody kept saying, or at least a few people kept saying, oh, it's a scam because the next guy will sell those for half price and blah, blah, blah. Well, first of all, no, they won't. They might do it one time to try and get your business, but that's not exactly how regulated goods work, okay? So I felt compelled to explain the industry side of things. I understand customer service. I would do my best to give you the best deal I possibly can. And I'm telling you right now, if you were coming to the shop that I work at, and even if you had to buy 2 7-gram bags, and it was a little more expensive than the half-ounce bag, you'd still be paying less than the competitors. So you're still getting a better deal. But instead, you're going to go and get the half-ounce bag at another competitor like it's, my fault. I didn't do this. I just sell this. And I have to follow, the proper operating procedures. So I figured what I would do in this episode, because this way I could fucking clear it up over the course of time, was talk about why it is that way. Okay? So any kind of regulated good, at least, I'm pretty sure it's the same with booze. If I'm wrong, you can, leave a comment, let me know, email me. It's all on talks420.com. Go there, you could contact me, you could tell me what you think of these things, you could tell me what you think of this, you could tell me what you think of my opinion. I'll read them all, because I love reading, okay? But as I understand it, regulated goods, and again, I'm using the weed industry as the baseline, okay? So how do I explain this? So in a shop like a weed shop, we could give you a discount on those 2 7-gram bags. The problem is we can't give you a discount forever, because giving you a discount on those bags to match up to what the half-ounce bag would have been would ultimately mean that we were losing money constantly over that, okay? So, in the way that a weed shop works, you, at least in Ontario, you have to buy from the OCS, okay, which is the Ontario Cannabis Store. Every retailer has the same opportunities to buy the same types of weed. Now, obviously, people pick their things that they want, that they think will sell better, whatever. You have to buy those in certain quantities. So, for example, as a retailer, you would have to buy, I don't know, let's say a box of 1-ounce bags at a certain price, okay? You'd have to do that for all of the different increments, all of the different edibles, okay? All the different concentrates, for anything that's a weed product, okay? If there is a variation in size, you pay the price for that size. Now, if you have more buying power in the industry, then you're able to buy more product, which then the OCS will give you a deeper discount on, which any supplier would, okay? Now, in terms of the industry and the regulations and the rules, I believe it to be that if you whatever quantities you purchase, those have to be sold at that price for that product, for that bag. So if it's a 3-gram bag, you have to sell that 3-gram bag at whatever the price is. Like, if it's a 7-gram bag, same thing, whatever the price is for that bag, all the way up to an ounce. Now, when you're purchasing bulk, like an ounce or a half ounce, they obviously give you a deal on the price. So they cut down the price for you buying that half ounce or ounce bag. If the proprietor runs out of that product, it is detrimental to their business. It's good practice customer service-wise, I understand that. But to do it repeatedly, it's detrimental to their business to then take the lower bag quantities, okay, and sell them for the bulk pricing. Because no matter what size of product you have a limited supply. So if you bought a box, you get 6 to 12 pieces of this product, packages of this product. if you get like a half quarter, a 3.5 gram thing, then you'd be getting like, I don't know, anywhere from like 7 to, 24 bags, or even like pre-rolls and stuff like that. So if you're trying to say that you can give a better deal, yes, sometimes you can, and you can match that price. However, if you are out for an extended period of time because either your buyer doesn't buy that stuff for you, or if like the Ontario Cannabis Store ran out of that product, or if a supplier either stopped supplying it for a little bit or like just discontinued it completely, you can't then, just because they've done that, always sell that smaller amount doubled up, or like quartered up, essentially quartered together, to make a half ounce or an ounce. You can't then just charge the ounce price for that, because the amount that you paid for that quantity of stuff is a specific amount for those packages. So you have to buy, as a business, within buying cannabis, you have to buy per bag, which means that you have to sell per bag. So you're buying quantity, even though you have a discount, you paid so much per bag, right? So a lot of the times, the smaller quantities cost more anyway, because that's how it's always been in weed. You buy an ounce for, like, when you're buying off the black market, you buy an ounce for $200, okay? If you bought the ounce for $200, the quarter of that weed, the 3.5 grams of that weed, would then be worth $40, let's say, or $45, okay? Now it takes you, what is it? So 3, 3, 7, 7, 4, 2, 4. It takes you 8 of those bags, okay, to make up the ounce. So if the ounce is the discount price of $200, and you have 4 bags, or let's say like 8 bags, okay, of the smaller amount of the 3.5s to make up the ounce, then ultimately you're paying $40. So what's 4 times 8? 280, right? Is that right? Where's my phone? Fuck. The student glass set in. I can't think right now, dude. I think it's 280. 4 times 8. 4, 4, 16, 32. $320. Okay, so that would mean then that you would have to knock off $120 to sell you the lesser amount at the price that you want. If you did that all the time, you would end up going broke as a business. And besides that, it's not like you can walk into the like LCBO, right, and be like, oh, well, you guys don't have Jack Daniels in like a 4-liter bottle, so that one's a little cheaper than buying all these individually, the 60 ounces, I guess. So I'll take whatever the equivalent is in the 60 ounce to make up 4 liters at the price of the 4 liter. Like, I don't see that happening. Again, I could be wrong. I don't know booze that much, but I've never been in an LCBO where I have, or even like a beer store, where I've been like, you don't have a keg of this, so how about you give me the equivalent in individual beers and then sell it to me for the keg? Like, I've never seen that happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm not saying it can't happen, but I'm pretty fucking sure it can't happen all the time. Okay? And then people, when they're discussing this stuff with you, they start telling you, like online, they start telling you how, you're full of shit, it's a scam, you're playing a game, blah, 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 whatever. Like, you got to think about the point of the business. The point of the business is to make money. If you keep giving discounts on large quantities that, you're going to lose money. Like, you can't do that, especially if a strain is discontinued, or if the company's not, like, doesn't have enough to go around, their grow, whatever, something happened to the grow, so they don't have enough to go around. It's not the retailer's job to make up for that. The retailer, in fact, has to have you pay for each individual package or each individual bottle or whatever it is. And again, like I said, there can be the time when they give you the discount, but you can't always get the discount, because if that company isn't getting any more of those ounces and stuff, they have no opportunity to make that money back, right? So it's the way bulk works, man. And that's what weed is. It's also a controlled substance. Have you ever gone to the gas station and been like, okay, so you don't have a full carton, so charge me for these? Again, I'm sure it happens, okay, but businesses a lot for each size of quantity. So like if they have, X amount of cartons, that's what they want to sell as a carton, at the gas station. I don't know. Again, I'm not fully versed in like how other businesses work, but I know in the weed industry, whatever size or piece of, product you're buying, you pay a bulk price, but you pay individually also. So selling it individually has to be reflective. You know what I'm saying? Like it can't just be willy-nilly. It can't just be like, oh, okay, well, if you don't have this, we're going to I don't know. I'm rambling now. But my point is very simple. Is that everybody wants to relate it to like fucking retail, like Walmart. We don't have the weed industry in Canada, especially in Ontario, doesn't have like a 53-foot trailer 7 times a day pulling up and dropping off stock. They have a fucking cube van, that drops off as many boxes as it can carry, and that's about it. And you get what you get. Especially with the involvement of head office and things like that. Like head office buyers are the ones determining what you're actually buying. And sometimes the industry itself, like I said, if you have shortages, if you have any kind of grow issue or anything like that, then, you can end up with, less quantity in a product, and then you have to divvy it up in different ways. So not everybody is going to get, the same strains all the time, or even the same packages all the time. And I don't think a lot of people understand that, because like Walmart can go to their back room and check 42 different skids to see if they have that same blue shirt that ripped when you tried to put it on. Okay? At a pot shop in Canada, you have to understand that the products literally come, like, you're not getting a skid, okay? You're getting, like, maybe an order of, like, 100 Amazon boxes to go through. Like, that's the size of shit that you're getting. And it's gotta fill multiple varieties to keep levels of, like, quantities and levels of stock, right? So it's not like they're at the level where they are buying in bulk that it makes, it makes it easy just to sort of be like, yeah, whatever, take it. It's not there. The industry's not there. It's not a scam. It's just what it is. You have to make a profit. And you're not going to make a profit by sitting there giving away smaller quantities. Like, when you bought weed out of the garage from your buddy or like whoever, right? You would, like I said, you say you buy a half ounce for $110, okay? You're paying for a gram, you're paying $10. A half ounce is 14 grams. If you paid $10 for 14 grams individually, you would be paying your drug dealer on the black market $140. Okay? Your drug dealers didn't give you a deal. The only reason that you expect there to be a deal in that scenario is because you believe that now that it's legal and retail, you can just do what you do at Walmart and be like, hey, look, what are you going to do? But Walmart is worth billions of dollars, okay? They're like the leader of an industry. They have so much backing, like so much money, so much power, that they can afford to be like, okay, look, we're not going to argue, just take it, all right? But an up-and-coming industry, any kind of industry, this is what you do. You can't give discounts on everything. You try to find a comparable. So, like, if, you don't have a half ounce in, like, I don't know, Pink Kush, for example, right? Maybe go for Purple Kush. If they have Purple Kush, it's a very similar high, man. I'm just saying that you shouldn't be, as a consumer, you shouldn't be ticked off at a company because they have to charge you a certain way. There's going to be a time where eventually, okay, weed will probably get to like a Walmart style situation, okay? But until then, you got to pay full price, bro. Plus, you got to remember, I've said this before, I think that a lot of the companies that that are in, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, I'm just saying that I think there's a lot of companies whose heads of company or like, you know, leadership positions are people that grew something on the black market and then brought it to the legal market. And again, I'm not shitting on anybody. I'm just saying I think there's a lot of that. And I think with a lot of that comes the mentality of the garage. So I think that, you know, as the place where you can, as somebody that sells weed, okay, I think that both the retail companies, the producers, and all that, and all those guys, the guys that are producing, okay, and giving out, and you know, the industry side of things, I think that they need to do a better job of being more business-like and less black market-like, okay? And I think that the consumers have the opposite problem. Now that it's completely legal in Canada and it's a retail environment, like a corner store. Like, when was the last time you argued with the guy at the corner store? Like, dude, these smokes were $14.75 yesterday. Now they're $17. I'm not paying that. I'm paying yesterday's price. Like, okay, guess you're not getting your smokes. You know what I mean? Dude, I'm getting high. That shit's like sinking in good. What I'm saying is that there's a certain way that you conducted yourself on the black market that was just like a universal, right? Everybody knew it. You didn't question it. You didn't like, you know. But now because it's retail and it's mainstream, all of a sudden you can like question everything, demand certain things, and get this and get that, because you're not sitting there with a guy that you aren't sure won't knock your fucking head in if you say the wrong thing. You know, because there was like, that's the level. Now, that's the level of the black market. And then now, it's like you see it as just like your buddy works at a weed shop now, or like some kid you know, or some dude you know, or like, you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm explaining this right, but what I'm trying to say is that you like, it's becoming so mainstream that potheads specifically, I don't mean all customers, by the way. I know that customers understand this. I know that customers don't freak out about everything. It is what it is, right? But the few that do don't seem to understand the concept of the operations of a business and how you stay afloat. Okay? And to do that, you have to make money. And you're not going to make money if you give discounts on smaller quantities just because the company couldn't ship you the larger quantity. There's a comparable thing out there. You can find something else. You know, I understand you were set on it, but like, how many dads at Christmas went to buy the newest doll for the kid and they couldn't find it? So they were like, okay, well, what else do they like? And they bought them something comparable. You know what I'm saying? That would give them just as much joy. I just don't understand why the expectation is so high that if something doesn't work out the way you want it to, then you get to freak out about it. Because I know at the big box stores like Home Depot, Walmart, they don't argue. They just, yep, okay, no problem, we'll replace it, return it, whatever. But they can afford to do that. They've built themselves up. Eventually, the weed industry will probably go that way, but it's not right now. They're still building. I don't know. I don't understand how people don't get the fact that you can't compare everything to everything else. Like, things have categories. You know what I mean? Like, you can't compare how Walmart operates to how a weed store operates. You can't compare how like a Home Depot operates in comparison to like a McDonald's operates. You know? Like, business models and everything, I understand that. But when you're trying to get something out of a company, you have to look at the industry, you have to look at how it's operated, you have to start to understand the regulations and the rules that they have to operate by. You can't just assume that everything just switches hands willy-nilly. Like, it's a regulated industry. You have to account for everything that you sell. You have to account for everything that you receive, everything. So I don't feel like there's any more to say about it. Like, you have to fucking, oh, I'm getting high. I'm trying to repeat the same statement. It's so stupid. you just have you just have to do it the way it is, man, until it changes. That's it. And don't compare it to like a fucking, Staples or Walmart or something like that. It's not that. It's a regulated industry. If anything, you have to compare it to in Ontario or Canada. You have to compare it to the LCBO, which is the liquor store, and you have to compare it to the what is it? The beer store, because they liquor beer, right? Go to two different stores, even though you can get beer at the liquor store. I don't get it. So the fact that all these people keep like calling me out to say it's it's a scam and all this stuff, it's not really a scam, dude. I don't think people like seeing people get ahead. That's really what it is. I think people don't like the concept of a corporation all of a sudden, because here's the thing. Like, if you're already shopping at the cheapest pot shop in your town, okay? And I'm not saying that like it's the cheapest, like it's just financially, or I mean price wise, they give you the cheapest deals, right? So if you're already shopping at the cheapest shop in town, okay, you have to understand that if you were to buy, like this guy was talking about, that no matter where you go, you're gonna pay more. And all you're doing is just getting one bag of it. Like, I don't know, man. The logic doesn't connect for me on that one. I feel like it's always been expected that you pay per quantity you want to buy, you know? Because, like, if you were buying a 7 gram bag, the person that's selling it to you would be going like, well, if you're going to buy 2 of those, why don't you just buy the half ounce that's cheaper? You know, most people are going to go, oh, okay, yeah. What am I doing here? Right? And again, I have to reiterate that, like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it in some cases. You know, like if some guy came in and the last bag was just bought and he just missed it, for good customer service, maybe give him a deal. But I can't give the deal every time you fucking come in, you know? Because we literally just had that bag. It's not his fault. If he had been 5 minutes earlier, he would have got it. So I'm just saying you can't do it all the time if you want a business to be successful. But I guess that's why you're on the internet questioning my capabilities and intention. Instead, is there a hole in this joint? What is up with this? Uh-oh. You know what? I might have fucked up this roll. Dude, this is the Candy Rain. Wait, what is it? SFVOG Candy Rain by Black Market. 31%. I think it's 2 or 3% terps. Dude, it was so sticky when I rolled it. I think I left it too long. Uh-oh. I mean, it tastes fine. It tastes good. This is obviously I didn't buy a pre-roll like this. I rolled it. I haven't rolled in a while. They're ugly. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, it's hybrid. And it is. It's a really nice balance. You know what? Maybe more of these guys that fucking comment on fucking YouTube videos about stuff they clearly don't really know anything about. I wonder if, like, I think that they should smoke. I think that they should smoke some hybrids. Calm their asses down. These sound like guys that can't do proper math anyway. You know? I don't get it. I also don't understand how, like, people just blatantly flat out lie. I don't know where that came from, but apparently I don't like it. Dude, I'm getting high. This is a really nice joint. So this is the the Candy Rain and SFVOG, 31% by Black Market. It's how would I explain this? So it's more of a fruity flavor. It's kind of got that skunky, like fuller taste, I guess. I really like this strain after after work. Like if I'm sitting down right after work and I'm having a beer or something, it's hot out. Like I like smoking this then, because it kind of like changes the color of the leaves. You know, when you look out and you're like, oh dude, the hues are changing. It hits you in the eyes a bit. It hits you in the body. Gives you a nice balance. Keeps you social. It doesn't make you flatline, but when it starts to wear off, you could definitely have a nap for sure. Maybe that's what these guys need on the internet is a fucking nap. Like reset. Maybe read a book. And again, I don't know that I'm totally right. I'm just telling you from my experience working in a shop like this why this might happen or might be the case. Okay? I've been around it enough to know, and I've smoked weed for long enough to know that like the deals you're getting in retail are considerably better than what you would be paying on the black market. So why you're even complaining about the cost of anything is fucking nuts to me. Okay? I wish I had cut that video better because the interaction was just funnier than that. Like, the guy just couldn't grasp the fact that it was like the time. Here, I'll tell you a good story. Dude, I don't remember if I told this on a podcast, so I'm going to tell it right now. But this guy, okay, he came in to the shop. He was buying weed for someone else, okay? I'm coming in on my shift. I'm a supervisor at the time. One of the girls working there comes running up to me. She goes, Justin, I can't do it with this guy anymore. He's like testing my last nerve. We've been going over the same thing for like an hour. I can't do it anymore. So I said, okay, well, let me just punch in and then I'll help out. So I go over, she's talking to him. And I realize what he's doing. He's asking her about THC quantity. Okay? So he's trying to explain to her, or he wasn't explaining. He was asking, so when you have THC in a plant and it says 78%, okay? Where's the other 22%? And she was trying her best to explain to this guy that that's not really how it works, okay? When you have a THC percentage, okay, you have the percent that it is to be out of a possible 100%. So THC 73 is 73% out of 100 chance that it's like, that's not what I'm saying. I fucked it up already. God damn it. Okay. The THC percentage is the amount out of 100. So it could get up to 100%. Does that make sense? Wait. Shit. I think I fucked it up. And I messed it up in my head now. This is the fucking worst. THC percentage is not like booze, where you would go, okay, there's 50%, you know, I don't even know how to make booze, but like 50% of this and 50% of this, or 50% water, or whatever the fucking deal is, right? With weed, your 73% is a 73% out of a possible 100. Okay? Because you could have, theoretically, you could have a plant that is like 80%, right? And it could have 80% THC, and it could have 25% CBD. That's over 100% of the plant, right? You can't equate it by volume. And again, I've debated this for a long time, so I think I'm right on this, but if somebody knows better than I do, please tell me. Because even if you take it from a volume perspective, you go, okay, so 73% of this plant is THC. And then you have like the actual green matter, right? Which is considerably bigger than the THC could possibly be, because the THC is contained in trichomes, which are on the outside of the plant. And the size of the bud would be considerably larger in mass. Okay? So that would be like, let's say that's 80%. And then you have 30% THC. And then you have the oil and the cannabinoids that are inside of the plant. So maybe the gray matter goes down from 80% to 60%. But then you still have 73% THC. So what the fuck? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see where I'm going with this? THC percentage is not about the volume. It's about the volume of the overall plant. It's really about the volume of THC on the plant. So out of a possible 100% covering of the plant in trichomes, it covered 73% of the plant. That's the way I was trying to explain it. Motherfucker. God damn, that took a long way. It was a long way around. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So you can't equate it to volume or whatever, the makeup of booze is, because it's not quite the same. It's not quite as relevant, So, yeah. I think that people need to like really think about what they're talking about before they talk sometimes. You can't relate apples to pencils. They don't work. It doesn't work that way. Pencils to pens? Sure. But yeah. Anyway, there you go. See? Candy Rain. Hybrid. Gets you to the point where you want to be. That was a good fucking one. Okay. I like that. So you know what? I gotta end on that, right? Those are my thoughts off the stem for this week. Thank you for joining me, Justin Barone, to start your weekend off right on Spotify, Anchor. Nope, no Anchor. Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, YouTube, Podchaser, Podbean, everywhere you get a podcast. If you want to just find all the links, go to tots420.com, read a blog or two about CBG and CBD and all the fun that weed is, and then check out the sesh-episodes and sesh with me. Come on in. We're just talking about whatever, dude. It's just a good time. You want to pass some time, smoke a joint? Come see me, Justin Barone, your friendly neighborhood pothead on Thoughts Off the Stem. Until next time, keep your lids low, baby. Fun.
Thoughts off the stem, friend, a neighborhood party.
Right on.